are now tuned in to DAR Sports Media. We got a bunch of hoops coming up for you this week, starting off right here with some NBA Hoops Hour. You know, it's a culmination of a journey for this here podcast because everybody here since the beginning of the Hoops Hour thing, we've been talking about the potential of the Oklahoma City Thunder and when are they going to grow into those big paws that they have, and when are they going to develop into the team of greatness that we have seen potential for them to be. And it all finally culminated this weekend. Game 7, the Thunder come away with the victory. Very unfortunate beginning of the game. Tyrese Halliburton blowing out his Achilles. Not just unfortunate for that game, obviously, but unfortunate for next season because he good chance he's going to miss the entire regular season off of that as well because the playoffs stretched so darn long into June with all of the magnificent long battles of finals. So not only did the Thunder take a former champion in the Western Conference Finals through 7 games and put them away, they went through this team. Man, how much can we talk about the overachieving of the damn Pacers? I don't think anybody had this going 7. Nobody had the Pacers in the playoffs. Great team basketball. A couple of guys who are extremely underrated, as it turns out. Halliburton was on fire to start this game off. I do have to say, but I am getting tired of, the pundits, Windhorse and all them, and now already all day on NBA Twitter. Well, if Halliburton hadn't got hurt, if Halliburton hadn't got hurt, guess what? He fucking did. So it don't really fucking matter what you think would and wouldn't have happened. Well, if he wouldn't have gotten hurt, then maybe the Oklahoma City Thunder don't go to sleep for a quarter and a half like we watched them do. After he went out, they let go of their intensity and let the Pacers hang with them. So if Halliburton don't get hurt, maybe that doesn't happen either, right? We can do this all fucking day. The thing is the Thunder had the MVP. The Thunder had the leading scorer. The Thunder had the best record. The Thunder went through 2 7-game series with great teams to get here and win the championship. I don't want to hear that shit. Just fucking forget it. Ain't no asterisks here. And to be completely honest, while it was a little bit of a different team, the Pacers offense ran damn near just as good with TJ McConnell leading things throughout the series. So, performance-wise, and we watched it, wasn't that big of a drop-off. I mean, a lot of the guys we saw stepping, obviously Halliburton had the big moments and had some great games, but we're saying Naismith a lot. We're seeing TJ McConnell a lot. We're seeing Pascal Siakam a lot throughout this whole series. So I don't want to hear it. No asterisks for me.
Wait, also, real quick, I just need people to understand. Halliburton hitting 3 threes in the first quarter. That nigga has plenty of times hit 4 or 5 threes or in the first half and then had like 2 points the rest of the game with like 6 assists. Like literally game 1, he had like 14 fucking points. He just hit the shot that won him the game. It wasn't like he was going out there dropping 30 or dropping 40. Like he did what he had to do. Like I think people were like, we was about to get a 35 piece or a 40. Like nigga, how many 40 pieces we seen Halliburton drop like that anyway? I get his game 7, but you think OKC, the best defense in the league the entire year, wasn't going to turn up the intensity to slow him down? Someone who was on a bum leg already, you thought like you can give up them plays in the first quarter. You can do that in the first 7 minutes of the game. It's not a problem. OKC all season can go on runs. Halliburton ain't defending nobody, and that's not a knock on him. He's not going out there and being no, all-world defender.
Especially not on a bum leg.
Yeah, Neesmith is out there hacking and fouling the shit out of people. Andrew Nembhard is doing the same thing. Like, it's a physical game. When things get physical, the guy who's already hurt and just a quick step, 7 minutes into the game is taking you out, that's food. Why OKC did what they did in game 6. Like I said, OKC looked terrible in game 6. So, I don't know what, maybe they tried to want to win it at home or whatever, as people say. And sometimes that does happen. But whatever the case is, that was bullshit. And there's no asterisk. To me, people like to do this shit. It's the shit that prior to NBA Twitter, we really didn't talk about that like that. If somebody said, hey, man, if such and such ain't get hurt, man, they might have won. But guess what? Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Goddamn it. That's not how, that's just sports. Injuries happen all the fucking time in sports. Can we stop? Like, this is an asterisk. It's an asterisk. Every championship is somehow determined in some way, shape, or form by the health of the team. Unless you are the KD Warriors, and even then, the health of the KD Warriors was very, very important because they could have three-peated if they were probably healthy, and they did not because why? They weren't healthy.
Well, and it's crazy because it ain't like OKC can do anything about it. It's
literally,
not like,
you play.
It's not like football where you hit the other person and hurt them, and even that's an accident a lot of the time. So fuck.
You play who's in front of you. You play who's in front of you. When like I said, I'm not a fan of the Lakers. Everybody knows this, but 2020 they was in the bubble. Is asterisk on that. It's not an asterisk. It's a funny ass scenario that they had to go to Disneyland.
I've never understood that. Motherfucker, everybody was in the bubble. Well, how is it only the Lakers benefited? Everybody was in the bubble. So what the fuck?
Not everybody, but Playoff P was in there. He said he was depressed, which he should be because I mean he was out there stinking it up a bit. Like they had like a whole 3 months off, so I get why people are like, oh, there's like an asterisk there. But it's not. At the end of the day, they went there for a reason, for a purpose. They won. It is the most unique championship that we've ever seen in the NBA, I'd say. Like, it's the most unique scenario. Niggas won at Disneyland. That's fucking hilarious to me. But it doesn't mean it's an asterisk beside it. A win is a win. You win how you win. People are like, oh, the 2015 Warriors, they had people injured, everybody they faced. Guess what? They still won. And they built a dynasty after that. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? Like, it's like... In sports, we have to stop trying to discredit when people win all the fucking time. Like we uplift losers to discredit people who continuously win.
Yeah,
and that's not even just a sports thing. That's really a world thing.
A world thing. Yeah.
If we're really talking about that shit. So it's like OKC 68 fucking games. First of all, they had to win. That's why I was picking them to win. In general, because like you win 68 games, you're the number one seed, you got the MVP on your team, you're scoring champion, all of this shit. You have the best defense basically in the league. All that is basically the recipe for winning a championship. You look at historically, most teams who win 67, 68 games like that, like one or two teams did not. Like one or a couple teams didn't. But like majority of those teams either make it to the finals or they win the finals. Like you have to expect that because that's not fool's gold. This is also the team that was number one last year in the West. So this is a team that could be a fucking, because they're young as shit. They could be a problem every single year. And now they know how to win. Now they got over the hump. That's a scary thought. Yep. Now, don't get me wrong. Chet Holmgren does not really scare me. J-Dub scares me more than Chet does. But I think, and SGA, we'll see how his season goes next year. But to go out there and average almost 33 a game for 82 games or 75, whatever, how many he played, go out there and lead your team to the number one, seed in the Western Conference, which is the most hellacious conference, in the league. I think you have to give him credit, and people don't. He's unethical hooper. This is unethical. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, that shit is. I'm sorry. I'm tired of hearing this unethical shit. I watched James fucking Harden grab niggas' arms and toss his head back for like 15 fucking years. And
I don't understand how with replay that hook and shit is not a foul. What?
It's supposed to. So
how is that allowed? Because I saw it very fucking clearly happen last night. I don't remember who it was, but somebody, it was one of the Pacers guys, either Naismith or the other guy that starts with an N. They clearly fucking hooked the dude's arm and fucking did that when they were going up, and it was like, how is that not a foul? It's like so.
It was supposed to be changed.
Nemhard be doing that too.
Yeah, it was Nemhard. That's who it was. Yeah.
Nemhard. This thing, they were supposed to stop. Like these like offensive fouls that are supposed to be called. That was supposed to be changed with like the new rules. Remember when they were like, oh, we're calling this, we're not calling that. All that shit went out the window because a lot of players' games, and this is my opinion on the league now, a lot of these players wouldn't be able to get their games off if they couldn't hook your shit and get to the foul line. You want me to get your game off like that? A lot of these guys, their first step ain't that quick. They can't drive. They can't get to the cup like that well. And that's what's happening with a lot of these players. SGA does not have that problem. That's why I dislike when people say unethical hoop. And even James Harden, as much as I hated James Harden's foul baiting, the nigga had a mean step back. He can still drive and get by you. This is like, these are elite players at what they do. These are scoring champions. These are MVPs. These are some of the greatest players at their position. We have to stop always trying to find ways. And I hate James Harden. Everybody knows this. But we got to stop trying to find ways to discredit. I discredit Luka just because he just little chubby and he played for the Lakers now. But at his core, even with him, he does his little foul baiting. Everybody does if you're a superstar. But like, you still dropping 50 on people, hitting 10 threes. That's like not unethical hoops just because a motherfucker try to get to the line and get some easy points. That's what the game has always been. Iverson, prime example. Nigga went to the foul line 12, 13 times every game.
Wow, that was because he was fucking.
He was getting his ass beat. He was
running the ball like Jalen Hurts in the middle of that fucking line. Wasn't no hooking, arm hooking. Shit.
He would get his ass beat. But
it was because I'm at the top of the key and here I come.
But I mean, like, even like Mike is another example. Jordan's another example. Jordan would get like 8 or 9 free throws a game. But Jordan was always driving, always in traffic. The Jordan rules exist. So it's like, it's not, it's like
fucking thing.
Like, they're not gonna hook your arm maybe like that. But it's like, okay, I'll hook an arm because the referees are going for it. Why wouldn't you take advantage of it? Is it unethical? Like, niggas gotta stop this unethical. Like, people keep doing this unethical shit. Like, bro, we trying to win. And we're going to try to find advantages. Like, fuck all this other shit. I didn't come here to be like, hey, good game. What's that commercial they once had where the dude cheated and then he told the shit? Y'all know the fuck I'm talking about, the basketball commercial where he goes and it's like, coach.
Man, I watched this episode of the show. This is almost a DAR Stories thing the other day. But I watched this show, the Beast Game show, Mr. Beast. He had the game show.
Yeah.
And there was one of the games. It was one of the games. I fucking swear to God, I want everybody's answer on this pod. I know we'll all have the same answer. Where it was like 12 people left in the whole thing, and there was like a pyramid of money. It was $1 million, and it was every person they come out. You could take as much of it as you want, but whatever you leave, like y'all got to share it, and it's for the next event.
Right.
How much are you taking? I'm taking $950,000 fucking dollars. What the fuck are y'all talking about? Because it was like an elimination game. Yeah, it was an elimination game, right? And so people was getting eliminated, and then only one person was going to win the grand prize at the end. I said, it's a 1 in 16 chance I'm going to win the grand prize. Yeah, let me go ahead and take this $950,000 real quick. They're fucking nut. We're here to win. We're here to win money. This is a competition. Yo, what are you trying to act like I'm a bad person? I don't got to see none of you. I got to see my friends when I go back home, and we're all going to go have fun with this $900,000. It's about winning. Apollo,
win.
What do we think, man? Thunder, good championship win. No dots, no asterisks.
Yeah. First of all, can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
I told you that.
Well, no, I was gonna make sure it was good because this shit going in and out. But no, there's no asterisk. Everybody who claims that asterisk talk, their team is usually the one who didn't win, and that's in like every sport.
Goddamn right.
So it's like, it is what it is. It's a part of fandom. Now overall, I think this was a very, very good series. Very great finals. I don't care about the casual fans, not worried about, big market teams being in there. Like, even Adam Silver was running his mouth on his little radio tour, trying to explain himself or try to explain the fact that you got two actual teams, deep teams, that's in the finals, and it's like, oh, you gotta explain why there is no blockbuster. It's like, man, no, you gotta, when you do stuff like that, that gives people credence to say, oh, this is all rigged. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be cognizant of stuff like that. So I feel like the NBA dropped the ball as far as presentation and everything like that. They should have
Yeah, they
just
did.
because people on social media are saying one thing, you treat your product like you're supposed to treat it, and the people will come. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like overall the NBA did a bad job with that. But as far as both of the teams, like I said, when we talked about the preview, I was saying that the two things that was going to be the factor in the series was pace and turnovers. And I mean, lo and behold, it kind of rang true again. I mean, if you go game by game, like I think most of us had like what OKC in what 5 or 6. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
I had
like,
him in 6.
yeah, like I had him in 6. Like, so it's like and I remember I said I am going to give the Pacers 2 games just off of how they've been performing these whole playoffs. Like you would be stupid and foolish to count these guys out because they were, I don't know, like they just were underdogs, but like true underdogs, you know what I mean? But they were still a good team overall, and styles make fights. Matchups are everything, and in whatever sport. So to have these two evenly, I wouldn't say completely even, but similarly matched teams as far as certain statistics. And like throughout the whole season, one of the stats that glared out to me was that Indiana was the more efficient team, and it actually happened again in the finals. And and that just shows how good OKC is, because they can overcome, having rough nights just because of sheer, I guess, talent that they have. SGA was spectacular. I mean, not the whole series, but for the majority of the series, he did his job. Nobody's going to be perfect, but he did his job for the most part. I think what game was it? Game 4 or 5, one of those games. And I said, to me, that was his most impressive performance, because when he willed them back, I mean, you got your calls, you got calls from Scott Foster and all that. Yeah. But at the same time, he still put his team in place. Indiana had the lead. Indiana lost that game. I forgot which one it was. Was it 4 or 5? But,
I think it's 4.
4, yeah. So it was like, nah, that right there. And with SGA, like I also said before, like he puts fear in the defense because of the way he scores. It could be that they could be afraid of him getting calls, which he will, or when he's not, he can still just he's still stronger than he looks. Like Nembhard, I said before, Nembhard, Neesmith, Halliburton was not going to be sticking him at all. So to have Neesmith and Nembhard on, they tried, but they didn't fare well. SGA was actually the best defensive player in this whole series. He had a 4% block radius. I mean, a 4% block rate and a 2.4% steal rate. So that was the most leading everybody overall on average. And Chet, I also said he was going to be an X factor because he didn't play in none of those games that they played in the season. So he had an up and down series, I would say, because there was sometimes Miles Turner got him, as far as stymieing his shot or getting in his head, I feel. But he also overall did a really good job defensively when he was supposed to. He averaged a 5.6 block percentage. So he was doing his job. Overall, like I said, just a great performance by him. Halliburton, it just sucks that he had to get hurt at the last game. So that means he's probably going to miss next season, or at least the majority of next season. So that's a bummer as well. I mean, say what you want about Halliburton, he is not a superstar. He has inconsistent games, but as far as a clutch performer and a superstar in the biggest moments, I think that boy has answered the call. And he's a real good player as far as that. But SGA, I mean, he was just the best. He was just the best in the league. And if they didn't cap that cap that off with a championship, this would be very bad. This would be very bad for OKC. This would be very bad for them. But they did what they were supposed to do. And overall, we had a great series.
Lee, Thunder following through on potential or asterisks?
They followed through on potential.
Hey.
Apollo, he stole my part at the end. I was getting ready to say, because, Indiana was up by 1 going into halftime.
Yeah.
And it got dicey when TJ McConnell went on that solo run. And then OKC answered back with a 19-2 run of their own. If TJ had just some help from someone, whether it was Siakam or I can't say Mathurin, because by the time he started scoring, the game was already out of reach. If he had just had another guy that could help him out, who knows what happens. But I'd rather focus on that instead of the injury in itself with Halliburton. But yeah, OKC earned it. They earned every bit of that. They got pushed to the limit, literally, and it wasn't without a whole lot of effort. Congrats to Oklahoma City Thunder for finally completing the mission. 12 years in the making.
So some big trades went down. The biggest one of all just recently, the same day as Game 7. Kevin Durant headed to the Rockets. Main pieces of the trade back, Dylan Brooks, Jalen Green, the number 10 overall pick, etc., etc. It was a duality of man moment for me on Twitter, because I was seeing people going back and forth. Some people saying, "Oh, the Rockets washed them in this trade. Oh my God, I can't believe it." And then people then saying the exact opposite. This doesn't look like it's very much. This doesn't look like it's really a whole lot for a guy of Kevin Durant's status, of his stature. So what do we think here? Which way does it go? Which team is more interesting off of this? I get it, the Kevin Durant thing, but the guy just doesn't play very much anymore. So I don't know. I think the Rockets look spicy on paper. They'll be just like I've said about so many other trades that have happened and so many other rosters. They're going to be fun to play with on 2K, but I don't know how it's going to go in IRL. What do we think there, True?
It's funny because KD is absolutely still an amazing offensive player. He obviously he's only had a couple seasons where I thought defensively he showcased what he can do, and most of those seasons were in Golden State, the last year or two in Oklahoma City. Ever since then, he's been like a moderate defender. And the Houston Rockets are a defensive-minded team. You take Dylan Brooks away. Obviously, Dylan Brooks is a part of that, but Jalen Green was not a part of that defense. He was not a part of, in my opinion, he was not a great defender. He's far from it. I don't think Dylan Brooks is a great defender. I think he's solid. He's pesky. But I don't think he was like the end all be all. They have a bunch of guys in Houston who, despite being the second seed, they lost to a 7th seed and much older Golden State Warriors team, much more experienced. KD does bring some of that experience. Jalen Green obviously was a dud in the playoffs for that first round. But what the Rockets have is length. That's what KD also can add to. They have length. They have, tenacity. They have all the things you need to build a good team. They have a good coach as well. I just don't feel like I can't look up how many games KD played every season in Phoenix. I can't look at how many games he played every season in Brooklyn. But I know for a fact, no matter what you say, he's not tearing his Achilles again. Obviously we hope that would never happen, but there's hamstring issues, there's ankle issues. It's every season. And because you're never fully the same, he's just that good of a player that his offensive gifts will still be there. He can still shoot 50, 40, 85 like every season because he knows how to pick his spots. He's smart. His IQ is insane for someone of his size, someone of his stature. He's a very smart player. And I think Houston, I can't say Houston will be better than they were last year, because if I look at that trade, if I ask you who was Houston's number one option on the team last year, who are you going to say? Sengun, Jalen Green?
It's supposed to be Green.
It's supposed to be Green. And Sengun, how's his game going to look next to KD? How's that adjustment going to be? What's the plan there? Are they going to go and get some other pieces as well? There's some other stuff going on. Like, we don't fully know what the Houston plan is. Getting KD is great. But KD is about to be 37. KD is an expensive 37-year-old, and he moves around a lot. He moves around a lot. This is what, 15? And there's no synergy there when you take two guys who are a part of building that team and you add in a guy who just kind of moves around and leaves whenever things aren't going his way. As far as Phoenix part in this, I don't think, first of all, we talking Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal all on the same team with also Grayson Allen. Yeah, that sums it up for me. That sums it up there. I mean, what more? It's just like, what more could you really ask for until, what I'm saying? Like, I don't really. Phoenix, Devin Booker makes a lot of money. Bradley Beal makes a lot of money. Sometimes in life, winning is just that. Devin Booker lives in Phoenix, I believe. I think he dibbles and dabbles in some Kardashian cooter box every now and then. Maybe that's life for him. Maybe that's what he wants. If I was worth $200-300 million and I got to dibble and dabble in some box, that, I mean, whatever. That's his choice. Not judging a little bit, but not a lot. But I just don't see where he cares about winning. Bradley Beal obviously does not give a shit about winning. He wants that money. And it's like, you know what? I'm with that. I'm not mad at that. $300 million contracts. You get to do what you want. You're rich. You get to live your life. Fuck that championship. Devin Booker has the funniest 70-point game in history to me. The absolute funniest 70-point game in history. It's so funny that most people forget that it actually happens sometimes. So it's like, who cares? And I will say this for KD, this is his first team in a while without a big three. I wonder if that will be a good thing
according to the phrase that you came up with, the last one was one of my favorite phrases.
Well, I'm sorry. On paper, in theory, big three. When people say a big three, Bradley Beal was never a part of a big three. But Chris Paul Paul was not
just three motherfuckers who could play.
Yeah, that's it. You're just putting three guys out there. That's cool. That's it. Just let them go out there and play. But I will say this. That might be what he needs. KD will, but unfortunately, KD might have to be the central focus of offense. And at 37 years old, for a guy who is not, KD has gotten better. He's gotten better at moving without the ball. He learned that well in Golden State, but he doesn't have to do that as much now, and he didn't do it much in Phoenix. Sometimes he would. So it's like, if he's moving off the ball, who's creating? Fred VanVleet? Is that who's creating? Sengun is creating? I don't know if they're elite creators yet on offense. And VanVleet has never been elite to me in any kind of way. I think he's a serviceable point guard, but he's very streaky.
He's elite. He's elite at the bank. He's an elite check casher.
Yeah, first team. First team check collector. That's for sure.
First team Bank of America.
Yeah, but like, once you look beyond that, I don't know, bro. Like, I just feel like KD is gonna go there. Probably halfway through the season, he's gonna clash with some of those people that are there. I just feel like that's gonna be an issue. The same way I feel like what people probably not talking about, I don't think Book and KD and Beal really all got along that well, which is why their team sucks. And I think that's a part of it. They couldn't stay healthy. Their synergy on the court didn't seem there. And I think it's because people know if things don't go well, KD's out the door. Devin Booker ain't going nowhere. He want to be in Phoenix. I mean, if Phoenix wants to trade him off to somebody else, if he really wants to win, that's fine. But that doesn't seem like a thing for him. So Phoenix will be just fine. They'll probably be, bottom tier of the Western Conference, but it's fine. I don't think the management really cares that much. You got rid of your best player, which is KD. You still have your 1B to the 1A in Devin Booker, but Devin Booker has always been to me like an empty stats guy, except for that 1 year where they Chris Paul helped him get to the finals. And like I said, you need that leadership. They don't have that leadership. Devin Booker is not that leader, and it's okay. He doesn't have to be that leader. He does not have to be that leader. It's totally fine. Not every player has to be this all world leader of like, let me get my guys and rally my troops and we're going to win because look at it's like 5 or 6 teams that really have a legitimate shot of doing anything every season. And then there's niggas at the bottom of the barrel every fucking season. And Phoenix was always there at the bottom of the barrel. They made the finals one time, then they went and got KD, and then they've been stinking ever since. We said it 2 years ago almost now, probably exactly 2 years ago. We said their cap as the Phoenix Suns was a second round team.
Second round squad.
And guess what's happened?
God bless the memory of Peagle. Second round squad.
Exactly what happened. So I think Houston might be the same thing. Honestly, I just don't see. I think other teams are going to retool. Other teams are going to come back. And I think OKC is still going to be at the top of that mantle. And Houston did not move me as a playoff team before. And just because you got KD, how do you know KD's not going to get a hamstring or hammy injury or ankle injury? And
no, how do you know he's not? You know he will. It's going to happen. Historical data indicates that's exactly what's going to happen.
So I mean, great trade on paper, great trade, but
what'd you think of the trade, man?
So, from a I guess from a team building standpoint, if you look at Houston, they gave away more salary than they're bringing in. So that's pretty good for their books. Basically, they got rid of Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks' salary to pay for Kevin Durant's salary and still have a little bit of change left. As True already said, Kevin Durant is still an elite offensive player at his advanced age. He still has a masterful game. But I think we have enough of a sample size to see that he doesn't have the same impact on winning as much as he did. Because, I mean, let's be honest, he's had every type of roster or team that you can have. He was the star of a young up and coming team. He was the icing on the cake to an already elite offensive team. Then he went back to a team where he barely played, but when he did, he was like an inch or a toe away from advancing past Milwaukee that year. So that's minimal success because most of the time he was on the bench, recovering from injury. And then you force his way out of Brooklyn, and then he went to Phoenix, and we know how that went. This is a situation that he wanted. He wanted to play with Devin Booker. And whoever have you, somebody decided to go get Bradley Beal. I mean, they both wanted him, but then I guess when he got there, they realized they hated him. I mean, whatever. But either way, it just they just aren't good looks. But he's been at every team, and he's been in every position. And now he's going back to a team where they had to give up some youth. I mean, getting rid of Jalen Green. I mean, he was, for all his warts, he was their best on-ball creator. I mean, you can take that what you will. I guess it's limited. He's still raw. He's still young. But I guess they're ready to win now, especially with their coach. And he's a pretty damn good coach. So, I mean, I get it. But for all his world, I don't think he's going to, I guess, be the be the reason they get over the hump per se. True had mentioned it earlier about Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks is actually only a good team defender. He's actually a terrible like individual defender. Like his numbers are very, very bad. But because like he said, he's pesky and he's an irritant, you know, he does things to get him noticed, you know what I mean? And hey, he's getting money off of it, so hey, God bless him. But they're not really missing nothing defensively. Because was it the Thompson kid? I mean, he's really like probably the best defender they got, right? And he's young. KD, you know, for his advanced age, he's actually a pretty good defender. And he does have the length and the size to help as well. I think there would be a pretty good starting five that they'll be putting on the court, especially if they have Jabari Smith starting. I mean, so we'll see about that. Now, as far as like that draft pick, giving up the 10th draft pick in the deal, I don't think they know how to draft that well, because even though I loved Reed Shepard last year coming out of the draft.
We're gonna discuss that. Everybody looking to go and check in on our other episode that we're posting right now, our draft special. But
yeah. But though I loved him, that was a bad pick for them because he didn't even crack the rotation, and I don't think whoever they would have drafted this year probably would have cracked the rotation either.
He was down there playing for the fucking Corpus Christi Hot Biscuits for the whole fucking season, whatever the fuck their fucking D-League team is called.
So I mean, so that was that. So I understand them getting rid of that. As far as Phoenix, I don't know if Phoenix knows what they're doing, but I mean they do have some time to figure it out. Everybody knows that Kevin Durant wanted out. They didn't do a good job in covering that up as much as they could, because they could have had a better offer, I think. But you know, for what it was considering, you know, I guess they made out pretty solid. Now, you know, Jalen Green and Devin Booker, to me, even with Bradley Beal, I think you're copycatting. You know, that's like tripling down on the same type of guy. And if you look at Phoenix's roster, they have nothing but guards and wings mainly, and it's like they got a lot of stuff to sort out. Now with that trade, now they got 2 picks in the first round. They got the 10th pick and they got the 29th still. So they definitely have to get a big, and they have to make a trade or something, because I don't know what they're doing right now. But yeah.
Lee, who won? Did anybody win? To me, it's like, I don't know. Both sides kind of do what they need to do. Rockets feel like they improved their chances a little bit. I think that's debatable, as we all do. And you know, like Apollo said, and kind of what we were, you know, they knew they needed to move on from Durant. So, given that that's the circumstances, not a terrible haul coming back.
No, but getting KD is what they needed. Houston was in a 7-game series with Golden State, and that was with Jalen Green averaging 13 points a game. Now that you have Durant, you should guarantee 25, 27 points a game. But I'm worried about the physicality in the playoffs. Getting back to playoff basketball again. Last few times KD has been playing in the postseason, 2 of those times he got swept.
Got swept. We talked about it last year. It was great.
I mean, now he's with Houston, who plays better defense than those teams that he played on previously. How will he buy in? Because like you mentioned, this ain't a team where it's a big 3. You won't see that. You won't see that with Houston. Will he buy in? How quick will it take him to buy in? And will everyone have to adjust to him, or will he have to adjust with Houston?
Well, we all hope that you all buy in to our draft preview, NBA draft preview. It's a whole nother thing. We posted it up. Our guy, Apollo, with his scouting agency, Shock Sports. It is in the places that you want to be, and you are in luck because we are going to give you the rundown on the top 20 plus other interesting prospects for the NBA draft. You don't need to go anywhere else. You don't need to look at anything else to find out the full download on the major prospects that are going to be getting picked on Wednesday. You can get it all on the DAR Sports Media Draft Preview with Shaka Apollo, Shock Sports in the building. We will be there. We got all kinds of stuff going on around here. We got this going up. We're continuing our NFL off-season previews. And then right after that, it's going to be time for divisional previews, win-loss predictions, all of that because, hey, man, we're closing in. It's July next week. And in July is when camps open. We're already almost back there. For those of us who bless ourselves with some UFL action and some European League of Football and some Canadian football, it's like football's never ended for some of us. It's been a beautiful thing. So we will be going back into football continuously throughout the next few weeks as well. We got these 2 drops. We got articles coming up all the time on the Medium site. We got the football coming back. All you need for the NBA draft right on the page right now. Click on over. And all of this is because the world of DAR never stops.